But the big news is tomorrow. By late tomorrow, it's going to be a lot of showers and rain right into Tuesday. This is weather right now. I am Jim Bosley.
On World News Tonight this Thursday, there will be no live Monica Lewinsky testimony before the U.S. Senate. King Hussein returns to Jordan. He wants to die at home. A light from the heavens, a giant mirror in space. And what is a parent to do when there's sex all over the internet? We'll take a closer look at the old-fashioned remedy and the latest technology.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the voice of the people, heard from the Senate gallery today during yet another procedural vote at the president's impeachment trial.
Mr. Baucus. Mr. Baucus, aye.
God Almighty, take the vote and get it over with.
God Almighty, the man said, take the vote and get it over with. He was arrested. That's him in the beard, slightly balding on the right. He may think it was worth it speaking as he does for so many Americans, whether they believe the president should be convicted of perjury and obstruction of justice or not. The best that we can say tonight is they are getting there. Today, the Senate voted against the House manager's request to have Monica Lewinsky appear in person. Videotape highlights will have to do, and then a final vote next week, they tell us. ABC's Linda Douglas is at her post on Capitol Hill.
The managers argued aggressively that if senators want to get at the truth, they should subject Lewinsky to vigorous questioning in public. Manager Ed Bryant, who deposed her this week, said Lewinsky is still determined to protect the president.
At times, the concepts that she discussed had the familiar ring of another key witness to these proceedings, such as it wasn't a lie or wasn't false, it was misleading or incomplete.
The senators were not persuaded. In fact, 25 Republicans voted not to call her. Senators of both parties said they wanted to avoid a spectacle.
Putting Monica Lewinsky in the well of the Senate would have not brought any new evidence and could have made this proceeding more political theater than a search for fact.
Then came the question of whether to let the managers show videotape clips of testimony from Lewinsky, Vernon Jordan, and Sidney Blumenthal. Then it was the White House counsel's turn to argue against.
The videotape testimony of Ms. Lewinsky, Mr. Jordan, and Mr. Blumenthal will be forced hour after hour, unbidden and uninvited, into the living rooms and family rooms of the nation.
Outside the Senate chamber, senators were preoccupied with the scramble to find the end game. Today, it was the Democrats floating a plan to adjourn the trial and vote to censure the president before casting a final vote on the articles of impeachment.
He would be sending a clear message that we weren't exonerating the actions. We were not finding the president completely without fault here.
So where are we now? Well, both parties now are trying to find a quick end to the trial and one that they could explain to the folks back home. But they have not found the way to get there yet, Peter.
Thank you very much, Linda Douglas, as we said at her post on Capitol Hill. The President and Mrs. Clinton issued a rather unusual joint statement today, complaining about a flattering article in the next issue of People magazine about Chelsea. Here's ABC's John Cochran.
It seemed innocuous enough, a cover story about Chelsea Clinton's close relationship with her mother, told largely in her mother's own words, and portraying both of them in a positive light. Still, the President and Mrs. Clinton complained with barely concealed anger. Despite personal appeals with respect to her privacy and her security from her parents, People magazine has chosen to run the story. The statement does not explain how the story could endanger Chelsea's security. As for her privacy,
we felt that Chelsea's 19 years old now, a young adult, and she's been an eyewitness to a very historical event.
Reporters have generally gone along with the First Family's request that Chelsea be permitted to grow up without being hounded. Still, there have been times the Clintons were glad to have media coverage, as when Chelsea toured Africa with her mother, and earlier in this spread on the family during the 1992 campaign in, yes, People magazine.
They always want the good things to be written about family life and so forth.
After the president admitted his improper relationship with Monica Lewinsky, Chelsea was part of this memorable scene. And later the same day as their summer vacation began, she was again on public view. But now the Clintons want her left alone.
I think they're worried about what this might do, if this article might open up the floodgates to a lot more press coverage.
That may be why the Clintons took the unusual step of personally complaining. Their dilemma is they may boost the magazine's sales and encourage others to do the same. John Cochran, ABC News, Washington.
Elsewhere in the world tonight, there's a first family in pain. King Hussein of Jordan has gone home, and it seems very clear tonight that he left the Mayo Clinic today in very critical condition on a special Royal Jordanian flight because he wants to die at home. The king, who has been in a war with cancer, has just had a second bone marrow transplant, which did not work. ABC's Gillian Findley is waiting in the Jordanian capital, Amman.
Here in Jordan tonight, people know their king is on his way home, but they're not sure what to make of it all. Jordanian television made no mention of how sick King Hussein is. Nevertheless, people are bracing themselves for the worst. The feeling is indescribable, this man says. He's our father, our brother, our friend, everything. We don't love the king because he's a leader. We were born with him, this man says. We've always lived with him. Because of him, we see ourselves as Jordanians. There will be a vacuum when he's gone, this man worried, and no one to fill it. It was just 2 weeks ago that the king returned to Jordan triumphantly and proclaimed himself recovered. In just 9 days since he named his new heir, his eldest son, Prince Abdullah, before heading back to the United States for his final unsuccessful attempt at treatment. And so King Hussein's nation waits. If the worst happens, this country will go into deep mourning. There will be a fresh set of questions about the future of the Middle East. Gillian Findley, ABC News, Amman.
Today, for the first time, President Clinton said he's giving serious consideration to sending American troops to Kosovo. That is, if the Serbs and the ethnic Albanian rebels first agree to end the fighting. Today, the Serbs agreed that they would at least meet the enemy this weekend to talk about it. When we return, in most parts of the country, the cheapest gasoline you have ever seen. And yet another struggle between parents and pornography on the internet. Is there a technology solution?
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Pedigree Food for Dogs.
Cleaning your teeth, protecting against plaque and tartar buildup, and prevention of gingivitis is crucial. You got that, Ellie Mae? About 75% of all dogs have gingivitis. As a vet and a breeder, I recommend Dentabone to help fight it. With regular use, it's been clinically shown to reduce